We have in studio arguably the biggest guest we've had, and we've had some big time names, but
we actually have a guest right now that's like the favorite of our biggest guests, of one of our biggest guests, and that's Kelly Slater.
That's right. Yeah, we've had Kelly in studio twice actually.
Kelly's a pretty big deal. Come on. I go second to Kelly. Come on.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man.
But of course, the man we're referring to is Jack Johnson, who we have live in studio, one of the most popular and talented artists out there today. And Jack, first of all, how are you doing? Welcome to San Francisco.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, doing good. Kind of lost my voice a little bit, but other than that, everything's great.
Right on. Now, what have you been up to these days?
I've been living in Hawaii, and we finished doing this new record kind of in the fall, and I've been having a lot of time just to surf and hang out with the family and stuff. And then this last week, I've been going around kind of crazy to all these record stores and radio shows and things. Kind of a crazy little press week.
Yeah, like I mean, starting things off, you just did something with we were just talking about this off the air with Virgin Records and the Virgin Records store just over on Market Street. And how like the autograph hounds. I mean, tell us about that, man. What's the experience like to have like thousands of fans surrounding you, all wanting just a piece of Jack Johnson?
It's a trip. I mean, to do the autograph things is weird. It seems normal for the first 10 or 15, then it just kind of get into a weird zone.
Yeah.
Of
kind of the robot.
Well, Steve and I know how it feels.
Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. No, it's things could be worse too. You know, I mean, it's like. A lot of the girls are pretty, and it's not that big of a deal. You know?
Nice. What's the weirdest, like the most bizarre off the wall thing somebody's ever asked you to sign? I mean, do people to such and such?
Oh yeah. Sometimes like people think they get pretty funny sometimes and ask you to write something specific. You know, like, and sometimes it get kind of nasty or whatever, and you start thinking, what if this thing shows up somewhere? It's just, thanks for humping my brains out or something weird. It's just like, oh, I'm not going to write that on your CD.
Now, do you get asked to write autographs in weird places too?
Yeah, I get that a lot. I'm a married guy, so I can't go with most of them. But
right. Most of them.
No, sometimes it's like a shoe or something like that, and I don't really care. I'll do it.
Right on, man. We're joined by Jack Johnson live in studio, and now tell us about your life. Now our show is more focused on action sports, and the main reason we have you in here is because you're this big time surfer. You surf all the time. Heck, you just did that Kelly Slater event down in, what was that, Fiji or something?
Yeah,
like
actually,
that?
I didn't make it down for that. I was almost going to go, and then last minute, I ended up going on a trip to South America for another surf trip with Jerry Lopez and the Malloy brothers and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
So now, were you a musician first or a surfer first?
Surfer way before the musician. I started surfing before I can remember. It was growing up in Hawaii and having two older brothers that surfed, and my dad surfed, and so I was out like riding tandem with my dad way back when, and then I got my first surfboard when I was probably 5 or 6 years old. I remember getting the hand-me-down from my brother. It was pretty funny. It was my birthday, and it was wrapped up with like a bow around or something. I was looking at it going, wait a minute, that's Petey's board. I was just like, I've seen that thing around here already. They're regifting.
That ain't new.
Yeah, but I was stoked. It didn't really matter. It was this old single fin. And anyways, I'd been surfing since then. And then music kind of came into my life around 14 or so. I started learning how to play guitar chords. And it was always, just like your show, I mean, my life is more focused on extreme sports and surfing. I mean, if I have the choice between snowboarding or surfing, or something like that, it's usually, I'm doing music, it's usually the surfing. Sometimes I got to commit to doing a whole tour and all that, but when I'm back at home, guitar is always kind of a nighttime thing for me,
right.
or when the waves aren't good.
Got to pay the bills, yeah. The money comes from the music, so.
Yeah, it's become a nice balance. I mean, it's something I love to do, but it keeps the surfing really pure. I get to just surf for fun, and then the music, go out and, it's a little bit of a sacrifice sometimes to anytime you decide to make it a living or a business, but it's kind of different because with music, especially the kind of music I make, which is based on lyrics, it's kind of about sharing the song. So when you go out and play in front of a crowd, it actually feels pretty natural. Whereas surfing, I love going off and finding a spot where nobody else is around, just a couple friends. And surfing in the contest, it was kind of weird. I used to do that a little bit in high school, and a lot of fun, but wasn't something I was kind of really anxious to do for the rest of my life.
Sure. Now you have the way you got into music, the way you got started is pretty interesting. You were doing a surf film, basically, right? Yeah. Tell us about that. I don't want to.
Yeah, sure. It was called Thicker Than Water, and we were working on that, and actually a bunch of things happened right at the same time. I got a chance to meet Ben Harper because we've been using some of his music in the films that we were making, and then G Love and Special Sauce as well. And those are both bands I liked a lot. We were just using their music because we liked it, and then by chance, they ended up being interested in surfing too. So I got a chance to hang out with both those guys and surf, and we played some music together, and they were both really supportive. Ben came in and played a little bit on my record, and G Love used one of my songs on his record that we sang together. And that was a huge deal. I mean, it really sparked things for me in the music world, meeting those guys. And then also making the soundtracks for the surf films. That really helped a lot, too.
That's
nice.
Incredible story. And what's Ben Harper like? I mean,
he's great.
Now, I was just down and I saw you live for the first time at Street Scene in San Diego last August, September. And Ben was playing one night and then you played the second night.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Ben like, man? I mean, you've almost, it's weird in the musical standpoint, you've pretty much equaled him. Maybe not in the way you look at things, but maybe more like popularity-wise or album sales-wise. But I mean, what's he like? I mean, he's an incredible musician. We're both huge fans.
He's a really intense guy. You know, he's really passionate about music. The way I kind of equate it is that the way I am about surfing and music, it's the exact opposite for him. His passion is music. You know, he grew up, his whole life, his family had a folk music shop, and so from the age where I started playing with surfboards, he started playing with Weissenborns and different instruments, and then the surfing was something that just came into his life later as kind of a hobby or something he did every once in a while. So it was pretty cool. He took me on tour, and the first time I went to Australia, for instance, we'd have a day off, and then I'd call up some friends and gather boards, and I'd take him to some surf spot, and we'd go out, and he kind of introduced me to the music world, and I'd take him around to the surf world a little bit, and it's a cool relationship. But he's a really, I mean, he did so much for us. The first tour we ever did, he was letting us crash. You know, if we didn't have a place to stay, we were crashing in their rooms. The whole band was just, they took us under their wing, and they really helped start our whole thing off. They're pretty amazing guys.
Nice. And as far as like the popularity thing, you've sold how many records now? Over 2 million?
I don't know. Yeah, it's something like that probably. With you know, if you combine the two records.
And we definitely want to promote the new album, which is coming out soon. Tell us about that. What's it called? When is it coming out?
It actually came out Tuesday last week.
Nice.
So it's been out for almost a week now, and it's called In Between Dreams. It's we recorded it at my garage behind the house. And
seriously?
Hawaii. Yeah, the last record and this one we did in the garage.
That's great.
Transformed it into a little studio. My brother helped me, and yeah, it's pretty mellow stuff. It's
is this the same brother that gave you the hand-me-down surfboard too?
Petey?
Yeah, actually it's Trent. That's the other brother. He's the contractor. It's funny though, Petey got all the credit. For some reason, people started to write. There's a couple write-ups that came out saying his brother Pete helped build the studio, and it's pretty funny. He always gets the credit, but
is he the older brother?
No, Pete's the younger one, the middle one.
The middle one, okay.
Yeah.
Now
Trent's the one who always calls me the sissy musician. He's like, you know, he's a contractor and a tough guy, knows how to do things, and I'm always calling him up and asking him to come help me do something. So I'm the sissy little brother.
Now going back to the surf movie you were talking about, where can people find a copy of that? Can people still buy that? I mean, I really want to see this. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I haven't checked it out myself yet.
Obviously, the music's good.
Obviously.
Yeah. Music's fun. It was the drummer and I did some stuff that we did 2 movies. I did one called September Sessions and one called Thicker Than Water, and I've helped on 10 other ones. But those other 2 I named were ones that from start to finish I was part of. And September Sessions, the guy who drums in my band, Adam Topol, was right when we first met, and that was the first thing we did together. Was we did the soundtrack for that film. I kind of played the bass and the guitar in the studio, and he played the drums and percussion. And then the very first one, it was funny because we were sitting in the studio as well as my friends. My buddy Emmett, the manager, he was the guy who used to edit the surf films. That was how we met. We used to work on these films together, and so we'd sit in his he had a setup in his bedroom, and I had a little 4-track thing on the desk, and I'd watch the stuff on the screen, and I'd just kind of play guitar along to it. And the idea was we were going to go into a studio once we finished and record all the songs properly, but came to the end and we just never did it. We just ended up using all the 4-track versions. So the first movie, Thicker Than Water, is just all little 4-track cassette recordings of the guitar, and there's no voice on that one. It's just all instrumental. The second one has a little singing.
Nice.
And so I'm guessing go to eBay to track that thing down, right?
Yeah, you can find it like in any surf shop too. They have them, and actually some places carry them, like some record stores and places that have DVDs and stuff.
Nice. Most likely Amoeba or something like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, Amoeba might have it.
Yeah, there you go.